Hey guys! Oh, I haven't done this in a while. So a few weeks ago, I finished watching this show called The Offer, which is about the making of The Godfather. And I recommend it because a lot of stuff went down behind the scenes that I had no idea happened, and it was really, really interesting. Even if what happened wasn't 100% true, I still really enjoyed it, and it also gave me the idea for this video. So this is about the very real feud between Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando. So back in 1954, Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando were both rising Hollywood stars. They had both recently won Oscars and were big box office draws. MGM was adapting a movie based on the 1950 Broadway musical Guys and Dolls. The two lead male roles include Nathan Detroit, a broke gambler that can't commit to marrying his fiancée 14 years, and Sky Masterson, another gambler that Nathan bets can't get a date with a stern female missionary, which he ultimately does by his charms. So of course, Frank Sinatra desperately wanted the role of Sky Masterson because it was the cooler character and he got the best songs. However, the executives at MGM had somebody else in mind for the role. They felt that Marlon Brando would get more seats in the theaters. And initially, Brando did turn down the role because he didn't think he could pull it off. He even said that his singing voice sounded like the mating call of a yak. The film's writer and director Joseph L. Mankiewicz wired Brando with a message saying, "Understand you're apprehensive because you've never done a musical comedy. You have nothing, repeat, nothing to worry about, because neither have I. Love, Joe." Brando was also promised that his singing voice would be dubbed because they did that all the time in Hollywood. Spoiler alert, they didn't. The casting made Sinatra very upset because Marlon Brando wasn't even known as a singer. However, Sinatra still wanted to be in the film, so he settled for the role of Nathan Detroit. So when filming began, Sinatra already had a distaste for Brando, but Brando had nothing bad to think about Sinatra until they started working together. So it started out with little jabs like Sinatra would call Brando Mr. Mumbles, and Brando would call Sinatra Mr. Baldy, and little things like that. And then the rivalry progressed with Sinatra hostilely refusing to help Brando with his vocals, and Brando purposely flubbing his lines so that Sinatra would have to eat cheesecake take after take after take. And then Brando did something that really pissed off Sinatra, and the alleged repercussions were severe. One day, Frank Sinatra's newly ex-wife Ava Gardner visited the set when he wasn't there, and spent most of the day in Marlon Brando's dressing room. And I think everyone knows Marlon Brando's reputation with women. It isn't apparent what happened in there, but Sinatra was obviously very upset because, according to Brando, in much harsher words, Ava was moving on from him and could do whatever she wanted, and that he just needed to get over her. And I'm sure Brando really regretted doing this. So, according to Brando's friend Carlo Fiore, this is what went down. Fiore was staying at Brando's house and was woken at 2 a.m. and rushed downstairs to find his friend in extreme distress. Fiore recalls that he looked like he had just visited hell and escaped with his life. Brando told him after a day of filming, he was riding home on his motorcycle when he visited a rest stop and was accosted by 3 men. One of them pulled out a gun and forced him into a black car. Fiore added, "Marlon told me, one of the goons told him he was going to offer me a choice. He could kill me, a quick and easy death with a bullet in the heart, or else he'd let me live. If he let me live, he'd castrate me and carve up my face so that no plastic surgeon could ever repair it. Marlon told me he had never been so frightened in all his life. He said, 'They put the fear of God in me. Don't you get it? God, one Frank Sinatra.'" Fiore seriously questioned Brando because the goons never made any mention of Sinatra at all, not even "stay away from Ava" or anything like that. He was also pretty sure that Sinatra was behind it because he had a reputation of threatening and intimidating people, and also there were rumors that he was allegedly part of the mob. The rest of the story ends with the goons kicking Brando out of the car somewhere in the Hollywood Hills and Brando flagging down a car to bring him home. His entire body was covered in bruises, but his face was untouched so that he could keep filming. According to Fiore, this altercation left Brando mentally and physically weak, and he had to take a few days off of work to recover. Brando and Sinatra went on with the rest of filming with no other complications, but Brando did hire a bodyguard. Obviously, neither actor worked with each other ever again. However, a few years later, they would be up for the same role again. In 1969, Mario Puzo published his acclaimed novel, The Godfather. Although Puzo insists that his book is a work of fiction, it's generally accepted that the character of Johnny Fontane is based off of Frank Sinatra. In the novel, Fontane begs Don Corleone to help him get a part in a war movie that could resurrect his floundering career, and it's believed this is based on how Frank Sinatra got his role in 1953's From Here to Eternity, which won him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Of course, Sinatra took grave offense at the character of Johnny Fontane and denied any connections to the mafia to protect his public image. He even confronted Puzo at a restaurant and raged about the character and the novel. Despite this, The Godfather was immensely successful, and Paramount Pictures wanted to make a film. After hearing this, Sinatra changed his mind about the novel and met with director Francis Ford Coppola and offered himself up for the role of Vito Corleone. According to Coppola, Sinatra said, "Francis, I'll gladly play the Godfather for you. I wouldn't do it for those guys at Paramount, but I'd do it for you." Reportedly, Sinatra wanted to buy the rights to The Godfather and produce the movie himself. That way he could score the coveted role. But Coppola already had an actor who he thought would be perfect for it. Marlon Brando. And ultimately, Brando did end up playing the role, and he famously won an Academy Award for Best Actor. So there's no other information I could find beyond this point about Frank Sinatra and Marlon Brando's relationship, so I just assume they stayed out of each other's way for the rest of their careers and lives. But yeah, interesting story. I had no idea any of this happened until I started researching it, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching and patiently waiting for me to make another video. If you liked this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up, and if you like videos like this, I hope you will subscribe. That would be great. Alright guys, again, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye!